I'm going to show you the 3 fastest UCAT verbal reasoning techniques. We're going to do this whilst demonstrating it with a real question taken from the UCAT question bank, because that is the best way to show you how to actually put this into practice. So the only way you're really going to learn is to first attempt the question yourself so that I can show you how these techniques apply so that you can implement them yourself. What I'm going to do is ask you to time yourself doing this question. I'm going to give you a passage with 2 questions and I'll put a minute on the timer. I'll show you on the video to mark where the question starts. So if you go past the minute, don't just keep going, come back to the start of the video so that you can keep track of how long it took you to do this question. That's the only way that we're going to help you learn the fastest way to do this. So I'm going to put the question on screen now. It's going to be a passage with 2 questions. You've got a minute to go and I'll see you back here to go through the answers. Okay, so well done for having a go at this. What do you think the first technique that I'm going to recommend for a passage like this? So look how blooming long it is. It is absolutely ridiculous. It's like 5 paragraphs. It's way past the halfway point of the page. It's definitely really long. So just let me show you, for example, when I go on the UCAT webpage where I got this from, this is the last question and it's the longest of all of them. If I flick through and show you all of the previous ones. I mean, there are some dense ones towards the end, but actually, maybe other than this one, which is a little bit more dense, it's probably the longest one. So the first thing that I would say with this is one that I would really strongly consider guessing, flagging, skipping, and moving on, because what you're doing is depriving yourself of easier questions that are coming up. But that's the first technique. So remember, it's a speed exam and it's really important to go through. And I talked through recently how you don't need to attempt as many questions as you think. And this one is getting in the way of ones where you're getting more marks. But also, not only that, another reason to skip is that obviously these type of questions, these like the ones that aren't true, false, can't tell, are a lot harder. And you've got a lot more things to search for. So let's look at the second fastest technique, which is going to be a targeted read. Now, again, this is another reason for why I would recommend probably skipping a question like this, because this is such a difficult one to do a targeted read on. But I'm going to show you how I would do it for this, right? So really what it's saying here is that the text is saying that 3 of these 4 things have been said, except something like this. So an A to being healthy is based on the following. So they are saying it's healthy due to 3 of these, but one of them, they aren't saying that that is a reason that they're claiming it's healthy. So the way that I would targeted read this and why it's so difficult, because this is a tricky question, is that you've basically got 4 keywords to scan for. So it's stories, maybe I'd say scientists and cures that you're looking for, thinkers of what disease meant in people's lives, and verifiable tests, right? But these are really difficult things to pick out of a passage. So let's have a look and go through it. So all of these are bases for showing or proving or why they believe that crystals work. So then it's giving you an example. So then we're talking about religion and culture. So it's only really in the final paragraph where it says it sounds like nonsense, but it's probably harmless unless you have a buying addiction. However, not so harmless are those who claim that crystals can help cure illness and improve health. So something that has never been verified scientifically. So we're doing all of that work to find that verifiable tests confirming the efficacy of use is the exception to these. This is the thing that hasn't been found, but you've got to go through all of this text to get there. That's why it's such a difficult one to do. And like I say, why this type of passage, once you get a bit of experience with them, it's probably one that I would skip. Now, The second question is a little bit easier. So, by the way, the answer was D for this. The second one is a little bit easier. According to the author, the sellers of crystals say their products can, right? So here we're just scanning for benefits, any mention of anything like that, benefits, improvements, anything that we can see. So as we're scanning through here, we're seeing that, so benefit here, rubbing it on your face, bring luck to business. They're the power of crystals, the pressure to buy crystals. So we're talking about something else here, advertising. We're not talking about benefits, so we can ignore this. Get rid of any negative energy so you can work better. That's a benefit. Shot various beliefs. Take an example, orange. So this is going to give you an example of what some of the benefits you can do. Creative energy. It's an energy, warm energy stone. So make you feel more confident and uplifted. I would scan the rest, but for the benefits of this, I will just quickly show you. So now that gives me enough to go back and assess these answers. So increasing your reasoning power doesn't say anything about reasoning power. Improve quality of life. Well, it does say a lot of things for that, but let's have a look at the other ones. Make you more physically attractive. Doesn't say anything about that. And it says about religious beliefs. There are religious reasons, but it doesn't actually say anything to do with improving your religious beliefs, right? Or deepening religious beliefs. So the answer is B, but it is a lot of work just to get this answer. So that will bring me on to the final technique, which I think is the best one by far that you need to try. And that third and by far best technique, if you can learn it, is speed reading, which I show you in this video here. But if you can master that, it can help you not only go through the text and comprehend it, but get enough of a vibe to answer the questions accurately and speedily, which is the most important thing. So best of luck with that verbal reasoning. Employ those techniques, watch that video to learn it, and that will help you improve in your verbal reasoning score.